Hi. We'll wait for people to join. Hello. I'm ready when you're ready. I'll let people pop in to the live. Ouch. I always wonder how awkward this is for people that are watching the playback. The beginning of these lives. Hello, thank you for joining. Just giving people a few minutes to pop in. Hi. I brought back the Iron Maiden t-shirt. Hi, thank you for joining. Giving people just a few minutes and then we'll get started. I have the best story to start out Taco Tuesday. It's really quite... Everything happens for a reason, I think. Thank you. This is my favorite t-shirt that I own, and it's getting holy. It actually has holes in it. It's my favorite t-shirt, and it's so comfortable. You love tacos? Who doesn't love tacos? Maybe I will get tacos today. If there was one fast food chain that I don't think I could ever get rid of, no matter how bad it is for me or how bad the meat is, it is Taco Bell. I could probably do without all other fast food. I couldn't do without Taco Bell. Hi, thank you for joining. I would believe it. It's a good... So comfortable. And, you know, I've seen other band t-shirts. I don't know, maybe I need to find the company that made this shirt. There's something about the material. Have you tried their... No. That's a whole other level of Taco Bell that I have not dived into yet. But I feel good knowing that it's available. Okay, I'll get started in about a minute. I'll let more people pop in. Yeah, you know what? I think I will get Taco Bell today. And this is my order every time. It's very simple. If I'm feeling really disgusting, I get the Nacho Supreme or whatever. I think it's called something different now. But usually my order, very simple. Just 2 soft tacos and the little nachos with cheese. But recently I discovered Taco Supreme, which has tomatoes and sour cream. Delicious. Very, very good. All right, I'll go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Thank you for joining. So I'll go over a few different stories. It'll be a little bit lighter today. I picked out some lighter stories so that we don't have to be so depressed together. Starbucks. My first story is actually about tacos, so I'll get into that in a second. But we have Starbucks going broke. That'll be interesting to get into after the first story. I have... This is a little depressing. Well, it's not that bad. The organization is updating their sex definition. But before we do all those, and then we'll kind of float around and see what's on the internet. We'll see what's on Twitter that we can talk about. I have some interesting statistics about Joe Biden. Let me bring up Twitter. This will actually really crack you up, this video clip from CNN. Oh, I don't think I have it on here. Anyway, okay, let's go into the first story. This is hilarious. I can't even believe I'm saying these things out loud, to be honest with you. These are actually words that were written together to form a sentence. and then a paragraph and a story that actually happened. So on this lovely Taco Tuesday, the First Lady of the United States apologized for comparing Hispanic Americans to tacos, convenience stores, and flowers. I love CNN, can't say it with a straight face. Oh, this was so funny, but I'll see if I can pull it up. So on Monday, which was yesterday, Jill Biden told the audience at the Latinx Inclusion Luncheon, which, by the way, I think it's only 2% of people who are Hispanic use the term Latinx. This is not a popular term, but really amongst anything except for Democrat politicians who their base. Oh yeah, how did she? She called it. She also called a bodega a bodega. On Monday, Jill Biden told the audience at the Latinx Inclusion Luncheon that the diversity of the Hispanic community was as distinct as the bodegas of the Bronx, as beautiful as the blossoms of Miami, and as unique as the breakfast tacos here in San Antonio. Also, question, so the breakfast burrito, like the breakfast taco, is that an Americanized thing? I'm actually curious about that. After much backlash, including an official oh my gosh. I can't even believe I'm reading this story. Breakfast tacos. Are there breakfast tacos? I'm sure there are. This is hilarious. After much backlash, including an official denouncement from the National Association of Hispanic Journalists, which pointedly told Biden, "We are not tacos," the First Lady issued an apology via Twitter. The First Lady apologizes that her words conveyed anything but pure admiration and love for the Latino community. Michael DeRosa, press secretary to the First Lady and special assistant to the president, tweeted. During her remarks on Monday, the First Lady appeared to misspeak, mispronouncing the word bodegas. Bodegas are popular corner stores found throughout New York City that provide a range of food and household products. At a Latinx inclusion conference, Jill Biden says the Hispanic community is as unique as tacos. That's the RNC Latinos. NAHJ blasted Biden for her comments, saying the NAHJ, that's a mouthful, encourages Dr. Biden and her speechwriting team to take the time in the future to better understand the complexities of our people and our communities. Our heritage as Latinos is shaped by various, I can't pronounce that word, and I'm not trying to sound like a dum-dum. Cultures and food and traditions. Do not reduce us to stereotypes, the group added. NAHJ encourages FLOTUS and her communications team to take time to better understand the complexities of our people and our communities. We are not tacos. Okay, that was basically a repetition of what they said earlier, or of the tweet that I just read to you. This is not the first time Miss Biden, who earned a Doctor of Education degree, has butchered the Spanish language. In 2021, while speaking to a handful of Californian farmers, Biden enthusiastically told the crowd "Sisi Pauade," while attempting to say "Yes, we can" in Spanish. Why is the doctor screaming? Steve Cortez tweeted, why this was a tweet in response to the Sisi Pauade. Steve Cortez tweeted, why is the doctor screaming at a crowd of 8 people on a lawn? B, what does CC Plowaday mean? In reaction to Biden's latest comments, Senator Ted Cruz, senior communications advisor Steve Guest tweeted, "This isn't Veep." Which White House speechwriter just won a bet for getting the First Lady to say something like this while referring to the political comedy starring Julia Louis-Dreyfus, which I've never seen Veep. Has anyone seen that show? I think it got some awards too. Hispanics are unique as tacos. The Texas senator also mocked Biden for her comments, tweeting, "Personally, I'm a chorizo, egg, and cheese." Texas GOP congressional candidate Irene Armendariz Jackson also blasted the First Lady for her comments. Jill Biden came to Texas to tell the Hispanic community that we're as unique as breakfast tacos. The fact that someone actually approved her to say that line in her speech and that no one saw an issue with it is wild. They're going to be at a 5% Hispanic approval rating soon. Oh boy. Taco people. So she apologized, or her press secretary apologized. That wasn't necessarily her that apologized, it was her press secretary. Silly. And that's where we're at on this Tuesday. Joe and Hunter have said even worse. Oh, yeah. Oh, here, this is the CNN panel that I was just telling you about. Let me see if it'll play.
Two-thirds of Democratic primary voters want a different age. 90% of Democratic primary voters under the age of 30, 94% say they don't want Biden. That is a stunning number.
Yes.
He swept his grandchildren, but other than that, I mean, 94% don't want him. Who are
94%.
Democrats under the age of 30. Yeah. Nearly two-thirds of Democratic primary voters want.
So that was on Jake Tapper. He's just stunned. 94% of Democrat voters under the age, did he say 30? I think so. Under the age of 30 do not want Joe Biden in office. It actually is a stunning number. And that was CNN Jake Tapper. CNN panel laughs about how 94% of young Democrats do not want Joe Biden to run for re-election. What's Kamala's numbers? They have to be very similar, or if not, I mean, what an embarrassment. Kamala Harris was touted by the left as, oh my gosh, I even have friends that still have a picture of Kamala Harris when it was announced that she was going to be the vice president after the election. And to them, it was like this huge feminist, amazing moment. Oh my gosh, the first woman vice president. And it was a dud. If anything, it's like, wow, maybe a woman shouldn't be the vice president. You know, and I'm not saying that as a woman. I'm just saying she's doing such a terrible job. She can't speak. She talks in word salads and circles. She can't answer questions. Looks unsure of herself. I mean, just one of the worst I've seen in my lifetime. Yeah, and all of her quotes, it's like all of her quotes, she's just repeating the same word over and over again, and she's not saying anything. And then she laughs uncomfortably if she's asked a pointed question. I mean, and that's who all of these women are touting as their feminist hero, because she's the first woman to be a vice president. If anything, she made women look bad. And it's funny, I have friends that still on their Instagrams, they have an entire post dedicated to Kamala Harris. Oh my God. And I guarantee you, none of them even realize how bad Kamala Harris is doing, because it seems to be the cool thing to pretend like you're up to date on politics and like you care right around election times. But then after that, you just disengage completely and have no idea what's going on. Did you know of Kamala Harris when you lived in Cali? No, I didn't. I knew about her. I knew about her in Senate, but I didn't live in California long enough to know about her when what was she? She was the AG? Kamala Harris. Oh, and I saw that somebody put in the comments 2%. Sarah discovered taco with sour cream. I did. It's so delicious. Kamala Harris is an American politician and attorney who is the 49th and current vice president of the United States. She is the female, okay, blah, blah, blah. What was she? Okay, yeah, she was the attorney general in California. I don't think I lived in California when she was attorney general. Or if I did, it was right at, if I did live in California while she was attorney general, it was right at the end of her term. But I saw somebody put in the chat 2%, and that was Kamala Harris's approval rating after the primary. So I don't know if you remember, but she primaried to attempt to run for president. And she did the debate with Joe Biden, which, by the way, she insinuated that he was a racist in the debate, and now she is his vice president, which is really funny. But yeah, she basically insinuated that in the debate, and that was also the debate that Tulsi Gabbard basically just demolished her, and it was right after that debate that her approval rating was like 2%. So she wasn't popular until Joe Biden named her his running mate. And I wouldn't even say she was popular. I'm just saying among Democrats, they're like, oh my God, Kamala Harris is so amazing and is the feminist hero that we all need. And that's how she was. But Tulsi Gabbard basically demolished her in that debate because what did she say? So Kamala Harris is now the cool thing, the Overton window, if you will, in 2020 was criminal justice reform because of the wake of George Floyd. And so Kamala Harris was all about criminal justice reform. But when she was attorney general, she kept people in prison for longer to get cheap labor out of them, or at least that's the accusation. And that's what Tulsi Gabbard pointed out during the debate, which Kamala Harris was just stumped. She couldn't say anything. Tulsi Gabbard also pointed out that it's so funny because now it's all criminal justice reform. Well, Kamala Harris was locking people up for marijuana charges and keeping them in jail/prison longer, even on charges like that, on non-violent charges. So it's just funny. It's funny. But I guarantee you, all of the people that have Instagram posts about their feminist hero, Kamala Harris, have no idea her history. Okay, this is pretty funny about Starbucks. So, wait, hold on. Y'all know if Kamala ever did any of those late night shows? No, actually though, oh weird, I think I lost it. This was Kamala, this actually just popped up. This was The Breakfast Club, Charlemagne the God. And this is where she admitted to smoking. This is where she admitted to smoking weed in college, listening to Snoop Dogg. And they actually did the timeline. And when she was in college, Snoop Dogg hadn't had any music out yet. Oh, do you want to play? Kamala's hot sauce moment. Oh, yeah. Who is that? Hillary Clinton? You know, I keep hot sauce in my bag. Okay, Beyonce. Okay, Starbucks. So, a long time ago, the CEO of Starbucks basically announced that he basically caved to the mob and said, we are now going to open up our bathrooms to the public, and now it has become a problem. Starbucks is shutting 16 store locations nationwide after store managers reported a surge in drug use among customers and outsiders, as well as an increase in crime in certain areas. 6 Starbucks locations will be closed in the company's hometown of Seattle, and 6 more will be shuttered in Los Angeles metro area. 2 Starbucks restaurants will cease operating in Portland, Oregon, while 1 store each will close in Philadelphia and Washington, D.C., according to the Wall Street Journal. Store managers have complained to the company executives that employees have not felt safe amid a surge of assaults, thefts, and drug use in and around each location. The company responded by giving store managers discretion to deny access to the store's bathrooms, which are open to the public, as per corporate policy, according to the Seattle Times. And this is when Starbucks got a lot of heat. They made this policy after they got a lot of heat for 2 black men that were arrested in one of their stores for basically like sitting there and not buying anything. I think there might have been more to the story. I do think it's extreme that they got arrested for that. So there might be more to the story. But anyway, as you can imagine, they got a lot of heat by activists, so they decided to open up their bathrooms to everyone. And the reason this is a bad idea, it's interesting because it says Los Angeles metro area, and I'm curious as to which area that is, where my, right where it was off Wilshire Boulevard, where my agent used to be located. In Los Angeles, there were 2 Starbucks that were within walking distance, and I used to go to both of them. Like if I had to go to my agent's office or if I had an audition, I would go to Starbucks and get a drink afterwards. And they, on their bathrooms, they had key codes. So you had to be a customer in order to use the bathroom. And the reason for this was that there were a lot of homeless people in the area, and a lot of them did drugs. And they would go in there and trash the bathroom or do drugs in the bathroom. So that's why they had the key codes, so that only customers had access to the bathrooms, only paying customers. And so I'm curious if that changed after they announced that they were going to be opening up their bathrooms. But there's a very clear safety reason as to why they only gave access to paying customers. Obviously, it was a problem. Otherwise, their bathrooms would be wide open. Here in like rural Virginia, you go to a Starbucks and their bathrooms are open because they don't have that same issue. And what's funny about this is that, well, it's not funny. Actually, it's rather crappy of Starbucks. They caved to the mob instead of wanting to protect their employees. Like they said, there's crime and it's getting dangerous. So instead of protecting their employees and being able to keep those stores open, they completely caved to the mob, And now they're having to close, I think it's 16 locations, 16 Starbucks locations. Because what will happen is if they announce, okay, we're changing our policies, we're now closing our bathrooms to the public. If they announce that, they're going to get a bunch of protests and all kinds of things by activists who are not very smart, in my opinion. Are not very smart, in my opinion. So instead of doing that, they'll just close them. So nobody gets coffee. Now they're probably going to have to, I think they announced that they'll be transferring their employees. They'll probably have to transfer their employees somewhere else, or they'll have to work somewhere else. And that probably sucks if you're at one of those downtown locations and now you have to move your location. A lot of people find jobs according to convenience and how easy it is to get there. But it said, yeah, so store managers have complained to company executives that employees have not felt safe amid a surge of assaults, theft, and drug use in and around each location. The company responded by giving store managers discretion to deny free access to the store's bathrooms, which are open to the public as per corporate policy. Last month, Starbucks interim CEO Howard Schultz said the company was rethinking its open bathroom policy due to mounting concerns about public safety. There is an issue of just safety in our stores in terms of people coming in who use our stores as a public bathroom. We have to provide a safe environment for our people and our customers. The mental health crisis in the country is severe, acute, and getting worse. Managers will also have greater leeway in rearranging the seating layouts and even adjusting hours of operation in order to address employee safety concerns. The Seattle-based coffee chain plans to reassign the employees from the shuttered locations to other restaurants. Large cities have seen a rise in violent crime and theft over the past 2 years. Seattle has seen a surge in both violent and property crime since the onset of the pandemic. Los Angeles has seen more people killed by guns during the first 6 months of 2022 than the same period in any of the past 15 years, according to the LAPD. In Washington, D.C., there have already been 93 homicides compared to the 82 in its first 6 months of 2021, a 13% jump. 2 of the stores in Seattle that are closing have been unionized, while one restaurant in Portland has petitioned to unionize. According to the Journal, Starbucks workers at more than 130 locations nationwide voted to unionize. That's pretty crazy. You know what's interesting about crime? So a lot of these are the same cities that have some of the super progressive DAs that don't prosecute crime. And there's this ongoing debate in Los Angeles, which is one of the cities that's shuttering some of their locations. An ongoing debate, it's this recall effort to get the super progressive DA George Gascon out of office. There's been a debate. Some people are saying that not all crime has risen. Well, here's the thing. Sometimes you can't always look at the numbers, say like theft, burglary, assault, things like that. Sometimes those numbers aren't so accurate because if you're having a big crime surge and people aren't getting prosecuted for crime or police aren't responding, you have people that basically, I wonder if it's because I moved it. Is it working now? Can you hear me now? What about now? Hello? Okay, I need to stop touching the microphone. The number you really want to look at when you're assessing crime, because I know that for sure that happens in San Francisco. I also know that that does happen in Los Angeles. People just stop reporting crime because they don't have faith in the criminal justice system. So they're like, what's the point in reporting this? But the number that you can really look at is the homicide number, because that has to get reported every time. And in Los Angeles, homicide has jumped like 94% than what it used to be. Wow, somebody actually commented on this. Seattle has seen an increase in crime because of the pandemic. Don't believe the hype. It has been no bail, defund the police, equity in prosecution, and all the Democrat positions. True. I remember hearing a story in Los Angeles. This was actually somebody's YouTube channel that I watch, and this isn't even a political person at all. They're not into politics or any of that. And they lived in Los Angeles in a house, had a few roommates, and somebody broke into, no, it was a homeless person that sort of kept like terrorizing them and was trespassing on their property, and they were getting rather worried. Called the police. The police came out and they were like, yeah, we basically can't do anything. So that's why people just stop reporting some crimes, because they don't have faith in the criminal justice system. So that's why if you really want to know, sometimes look at the homicide rate. I'm only half taco. My dad was a burger. Silly. Okay. All right, this is the World Health Organization, the WHO. The World Health Organization is updating gender mainstreaming. The World Health Organization is updating gender mainstreaming manual to include new wording that states sex is not limited to male or female. Here we go. Here we go. The new definition and other changes expand the first edition of the manual from 2011. The organization said in a news release that its updates focus in part on going beyond non-binary approaches to gender and health to recognize gender and sexual diversity, or the concepts that gender identity exists on a continuum and that sex is not limited to male or female. The updates to the manual, in partnership with the United Nations University International Institute for Global Health, that is a mouthful. The United Nations University International Institute for Global Health, are taking place during the summer and fall of 2022. Opportunities for feedback are offered during the review period. The new guidance also plans to include new gender equity and human rights frameworks that will feature various tools to support the revised concepts. In a frequently asked questions handout related to the update, the WHO answered that gender mainstreaming manual is being revised in light of new scientific evidence and conceptual advances on gender health and development that should inform WHO leadership. The update also plans to understand how gender intersects and interacts with different factors that affect health outcomes. Distribution of health outcomes across population groups due to the effects of gender roles, norms, and relations. What in the heck are they talking about? The work is led by The work is led by the WHO's Gender Equity and Human Rights team. So, you know how we always laugh at people that get these like useless degrees? Ben Shapiro calls it like the lesbian dance theory degree, or degrees in like gender studies and all of that stuff. And we're like, those aren't real degrees. You can't get a real job. Well, they've created jobs for these people. They're on the Gender Equity and Human Rights team. They created jobs for themselves. Basket weaving, underwater basket weaving. British Parliament member Penny Mordaunt also spoke out on the issue of gender in the last week in a controversial Twitter post. I am biologically a woman, If I have a hysterectomy or a mastectomy, I am still a woman and I am legally a woman. Some people born male and who have been through the gender recognition process are also legally female. That does not mean they are biological women like me. She's right. And speaking about health, it's actually important, I would think. I'm no biologist or scientist. I'm also not a Scientologist. But men and women biologically have different health risks. And I would think for a healthcare provider, they should know your biological sex so they know how to properly assess you and they know what your risks are. Like men are more at risk for pancreatic cancer, women are more at risk for breast cancer and other certain ailments. We're made up differently, so biology, it matters. Ooh, J.K. Rowling. Okay. The debate over gender issues has continued to generate controversy in both the UK and the US. In the UK, Harry Potter series author J.K. Rowling has been ostracized by many over speaking out regarding trans issues. She said, this is J.K. Rowling. Utterly shameful, she says. Add this to the tottering pile of evidence that people in education and academia who are supposed to have a duty of care towards young have succumbed to an outbreak of quasi-religious fanaticism. The girl's crime? Saying sex. The Daily Wire's Matt Walsh also addressed the gender discussion with his documentary What is a Woman? The film looks at responses from a variety of sources across the globe to shed light on the issue. The controversy has also become a question for the church in the UK. The Church of England, a Church of England bishop, raised criticism last week by saying there is no official definition of a woman. Wow. But there is. It does matter. It matters for health reasons. It matters for a lot of reasons. And it was Matt Walsh, actually, that, well, a few people have said it, but he's made the point. If you dig up a body, if you dig up my body 100 years from now, and nothing else is left except for my bones, you are going to be able to tell whether I'm a woman or not. It is in your biology, and it does matter. When you're speaking of healthcare, it matters because women are more prone to different health issues than men are, so it matters that a healthcare provider, I'm sure, knows your biological sex. I identify as a taco. Only Taco Bell can affirm me. Now you're making me want Taco Bell again. It's thundering here in Wilmington. I was driving home the other night on these little country roads, and I could see a lightning storm in the distance. It was crazy. It was also really cloudy out that night. So literally, it was just the clouds just lighting up. It was quite strange, but it was cool. Sri Lanka is now alt-right. I'm not surprised. Speaking of DAs, Tuesday is fabulous. Okay, speaking of the super progressive DAs, one of them that just got recalled, Chesa Boudin. This is actually a really cool story. So Chesa Boudin got recalled, and one of the prosecutors that actually worked under him, she quit her job as a prosecutor to dedicate herself fully to recall Chesa Boudin. So she quit her job, dedicated herself to that effort, and Mayor London Breed, the mayor of San Francisco, actually appointed her new district attorney. So I think that's really cool. Well, she just tweeted out this. Chessa, the next Ultimate Fighting Championship. I have a feeling he probably doesn't fight very well. I don't know. And something is weird. You know what I noticed with Chessa Bodine? I can't get over this. If you ever watch a speech of his, he holds the microphone like this, like very dainty when he talks. I'm telling you, if you look up anything, any speech he gives or any event he does or did, he's not doing them anymore, where he holds the microphone, he's like holding it like this. It's very dainty. And that's, whenever he's talking, that's all I can look at is how he's holding the microphone. And it's really distracting. Yeah. It's really distracting. So Brooke Jenkins, San Francisco Chronicle, the new San Francisco DA Brooke Jenkins has ordered a review of dozens of drug cases in which the offices extended plea offers under the predecessor Chessa Bodine and may revoke some of those pending offers. She said, I told the public that on day one, I will begin enforcing drug crime law. I mean what I say, and I am focused on delivering on my promise to hold serious and repeat offenders accountable for wreaking havoc on our communities like the Tenderloin. Yay. Good. I mean, we just read how Starbucks is closing 16 locations because of the crime and drug use. That's the effect that these policies have. And a lot of these super progressive DAs, they don't see drug offenses as violent crime. It leads to violence. It makes a chaotic and unsafe environment. And Tenderloin is one of the areas, all of the drug use, all of the open air drug use has just wreaked havoc on that community. And it invites other crimes to happen. And the reason people do it there is because they know that they can. If they know that they can, they will do it. If they know that they can't, they won't. San Francisco also lost 22 Walgreens because of the crime. And what is another reason? I wonder if it's because I keep hitting the microphone by accident. How is it now? Tacos. Okay, great. I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, they lost 22 Walgreens. Okay. I think it's when I hit the microphone. I keep touching it and hitting it by accident. I'm sorry. Yeah, they lost 22 Walgreens because of all the crime. And what's one reason that people steal? They steal for drug money. They sell the stuff online or in their little, I don't know, markets on the side of the road or whatever, and they get more drug money. Did I see the photo of the locked cheese? No, hold on. They're locking cheese up? What's keeping the other Walgreens open? I guess people don't smash and grab the other Walgreens. I think they were just in areas where they were getting hit a lot. They have to put those clothing blocks on cheese. Oh my goodness. You know what? There is a Target that I went to recently, and it didn't even seem like it was in a bad area, but like even in the clothes section, there were all these security tags on like shirts that cost $10 to $15. It was pretty wild. I've never seen that before in a Target. cheese is expensive. I was actually I was watching this. I can't remember where I saw it, but it was this girl who used to work at Whole Foods. And I don't know if you've ever been in a Whole Foods where they have this like basket of, they're not like full blocks of cheese, but I call them like the stinky cheeses, like the Gouda and the Brie and all of these like crazy cheeses. And you can get just like a tiny thing of that cheese. But anyway, they have it in like this huge basket. They have it in most Whole Foods. And this girl that used to work at Whole Foods, she would say, she goes, I would never pay for my cheese. I would just go up there and I would just take cheese and put it in my pocket because it's expensive. Why would I pay for it? So she would just put cheese in her pocket. She would buy all her other items, but she would never pay for her cheese. And one day she got busted and was made to take the cheese out of her pocket, and they like put a photo of her or something. I think they photocopied her ID and put it up in the break room, and she wasn't allowed to go back to that Starbucks anymore. But she was like, it's expensive. Now she pays for it now. The cheese bandit. Yeah, she was the cheese bandit. And actually those cheeses, they were a decent price because they were just like, I liked it because you could try different kinds of cheeses. Cars are expensive too. This is funny. Kamala Harris in December. I'm Vice President of the United States. Anything that I handle is because it's a tough issue. Her approval rating is worse than Joe Biden's. Hello. Lori Lightfoot. There's been some notion out there that they're going to bring legal action against healthcare providers and against women themselves if they travel outside of the states where abortion is banned. What I hear when I hear is fugitive. Oh, geez. She's comparing it to slavery. In Canadian winters, cars only last 3 years. Oh, I forgot about Canadian winters. This is interesting. So here's a update on the border. Let me let this load a little bit. I actually during the trucker convoy, the free convoy in Canada, actually what happened with my audio. How is it now? Recording. Okay, now. Okay. Found you through the trucker convoy stuff. Stayed for the tacos. Are you the one that was in the trucker convoy? I don't know. I'm just using the cord that came with the microphone. Oh, it is a little. Hold on. It is a little wrapped up. I don't store my electronics very well. It's a very long cord. I don't think it's definitely not the mic. It has to be the cord. Is it a USB cord? Well, I don't know if it's a USB. It has a USB adapter, but I don't think it's a USB cord. But I have an adapter. I wonder if that's what it is. The cat is under the table playing with the cord. She's asleep. I don't know what it is. Is it better now? Maybe I probably should get a cord actually. Is Eva still hunting ducks? No, there's no ducks, but we do have this type of bird. And I actually shocked. I had the same issue with the USB-C cord. XLR cords work better. Thank you. Yeah, I'll check. I know I have a USB adapter, but this I need to stop touching it. It's actually, and it honestly, it's a very unusually. I don't want that. It's a very unusually long cord as well, which I don't think helps because I end up spinning it around. Oh, we have blue herrings. We have those birds. They're very big. They're like seagulls. But they're around, there's a little pond around my house and there's blue herrings all around it. Well, I was about to end anyway, so I think I'll go ahead and end, and I will check on my. I think it's the cord. I don't think it's the microphone because it's a newer one. It's a pretty nice one, but I think it might be the cord. All right, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for watching. I will work on the sound and figure out what the issue is. But thank you again, and I'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Yeah, your audio is bad, then good, then bad again. No, the mic is fine. I think it might be the cord. Oh, now the mic is, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know, dudes. I'm sorry. I don't mean to assume everyone's gender by calling you dudes. All right, I'll see you all later. Have a really good, the mic is offended. Have a really good day. All right, I'll see you all. I'll be back tomorrow at 2. Hopefully with better sound. Bye.